Now the question is, why should we assign and complete small tasks? Well, first, I want you guys to think of something. Now imagine this. Imagine you are an employee, but imagine that you are bored, demotivated, and underperforming like her. As you can see, she is bored and unmotivated. Now imagine if this happened to an entire team. Imagine if an entire team was bored, lethargic, unmotivated, much like her, right? That's a problem, right? That's a big problem. So how do we fix this, right? We need to fix this because this is a big problem, because if you are bored and unmotivated, it's going to affect your performance and people will see you as unreliable and unproductive. And we don't want that. So how do we fix this? Well, small tasks is how we fix this, right? Small tasks is one way we can fix boredom and lethargy in the workplace. Now the question is, how does small tasks fix this? Well, that's what we're going to be looking at today. So first I want to introduce myself. My name is Dan David, and what I'm going to be expounding to you is why we need small tasks, why we need to complete and assign small tasks. So back to the question, how does small tasks fix boredom, lethargy, and underperformance? Well, the first point I would like to make is that small tasks prevent boredom, right? Much like what I said before. But now, how does small tasks prevent boredom, right? So small tasks keeps employees busy during the times when business is slow, when they don't have any major contracts with a client, when your employees don't have any big projects to work on. Those are the times when you will need small tasks the most, okay? Because you want to keep busy during those times, right? Because when you are busy in engaging in meaningful work during those times with small tasks, then their performance will not drop, especially when they don't have any big projects to work on, right? But now, let's just say that there are no big projects to work on within your department, okay? What can you do? Well, one thing you can do is that you can take on small tasks outside of your department, right? Now, why is that beneficial? One benefit of doing small tasks outside of your department is that it will expand your knowledge of the wider business, because so often employees don't have a good enough knowledge of their own business, their own company, right? So doing small tasks outside of your immediate department is going to expand your knowledge of the business, right? Not only that, it will also affect the way your coworkers and your manager sees you, right? Doing small tasks will influence your relationships, your professional relationships with other colleagues. So how is that? Well, small tasks helps maintain team communication and relationships, right? You can't be a successful professional without successful, meaningful relationships, and communication between team members. So how do we do this? Right? So how do we go about this? Well, if you are a manager, what you can do is that you can assign small tasks to your team members, right? So make sure that they are busy, make sure that they are engaged with small tasks, especially if you're in a time where there isn't a lot of big projects. Now, if you're a team member and you don't have a lot of big projects to work on, what you should do, what I'm inviting you to do, is to ask for small tasks from your manager or from other team members. If your other team members have a lot of work that they would like to delegate to someone else, why don't you go up to them and ask them, hey, do you need help with this task, right? Now, I've done this before. I noticed that my LinkedIn network has grown, and it's mainly because I've done small tasks for these people, for these colleagues. And it really did help me through difficult times in my work where I was bored and lethargic and I had not much big projects to do. So asking for small tasks from your fellow colleagues will really help with your productivity, right? It also builds professional relationships, right? If you complete small tasks, okay? Now, also it will make you not only make you look more reliable, but you will become more reliable and team-oriented when you complete small tasks for the people in your team, right? And that's really important. Not only that, When you complete small tasks from your team, it builds their confidence in you. It builds your manager's confidence in you. It builds your team members' confidence in you. And that's important in order for you to be a reliable team member. Now, speaking of confidence, small tasks increases your confidence, right? Now, the question is, how do small tasks increase your confidence? Well, number one, small tasks gives people small wins, right? And whenever you win, you feel confident, right? So you want to have wins under your belt. Now, when you don't have any major projects going on, that's when it could be difficult to get a win. But if you are always completing small tasks, then you always get a small win, right? And those small wins is what will build your confidence. And that links into my next point, which is small tasks releases dopamine, which is the reward hormone. Now, if you've never heard of dopamine, dopamine is the hormone that is released when we successfully achieve a goal and or when we are pursuing a goal, pursuing a meaningful goal, right? So when we complete a small task, we release dopamine, which is the reward hormone, and that makes us feel good. And when we feel good, we become more confident. We become more confident professionals whenever we complete small tasks and we get that release of dopamine. Now, what else? Another point I would like to make is that it increases your competence, because when you complete small tasks, even when you are in a slow period, it keeps your technical skills sharp, right? And when your technical skills are still sharp, you're still competent at your profession, and competence breeds confidence. So the more competent you are, the more confident you'll be as a professional engineer, as a professional whatever, right? And finally, small tasks create instant confidence. It's instant confidence. It's not gradual confidence, because small tasks can be completed within a few hours or a few days, right? So completing a small task should not be that much of a hindrance to an employee, because it only takes a few hours and a few days to complete. That's compared to big projects where it could take months or even years to get a payoff. But with small tasks, there's an immediate payoff, right? And that immediate payoff is going to give us confidence, right? So small task is immediate confidence. And when you are confident, you become a more valuable employee, right? So now, in conclusion, small tasks make for a very valuable employee that is well-rounded in their skills, engaged, and has good professional relationships, and does meaningful work, right? So how do we fulfill this? How do we become more engaged in our work? How do we perform more meaningful work? How do we become more competent, have better professional relationships, as better engaged and motivated, and higher performing at work, more productive? I would invite all of you to consider completing more small tasks, especially when it is a slow time in your work. Okay, so if you are an employee, ask for more small tasks. And if you are a manager, assign more small tasks to your fellow employees. So that is why I believe small tasks are important as a professional in your career. Thank you very much.